Color is my obsession, my joy, my torment, said the great impressionist Claude Monet. So is a career in capital markets, though of course we tend to favor the color green. Is it not? Profits is what drives this business?
Profits definitely drive these business. To me, partnering with companies means that much more.
What are the components of value?
I look for structural change and leadership attributes. And whenever I see a confluence of these two, I feel the greatest opportunities are created.
And when you add that with a change in PE ratio?
Actually, these two factors influence both the EPS and the PE.
Okay, let's take structural.
Yeah, I would like to emphasize that changes in EPS are linear, whereas changes in PE are non-linear.
And that's where wealth comes from.
And when you get the two of them together, that's just magic.
But is payout ratio or is return on capital employed, how do you use that to identify the great companies of tomorrow?
In my experience, capital allocation and capital structure have been the biggest drivers of value destruction. So to me it is very important how a company deploys its cash that it earns. Mathematically, how your return on incremental capital behaves is very important to your future return on capital employed. To give you an example, once Titan moved from borrowing and funding its gold inventory to gold leasing structure, its return on capital employed suddenly dramatically changed, and its cash flow intensity for the working capital reduced. These two factors put together enabled it to scale its business.
You did the same thing with CRISIL, didn't you?
CRISIL's skill sets of knowledge intensive products and services was not being leveraged enough. CRISIL was sitting with a lot of cash, and our thoughts were that if CRISIL could find a potential acquisition, then that could help CRISIL grow significantly. I think all credit should go to the CRISIL team, and zeroed in on IREVNA, which was catering to servicing international investment banks.
Right.
And IREVNA scaled so beautifully over the years.
So low growth company becomes high growth, the PE changes, the market cap changes, wealth is generated.
Yes.
You've often said that the greatest investment attribute is fill in the blank.
I would say long-term compounding. Most of us have become obsessed with multi-baggers, and we like it a lot if a stock goes up 3x and 4x or 5x
in a short time.
However, the magic of long-term compounding is so powerful, and while we have all learnt and read about this, I don't think most of us practice it enough. And I think that is one of the great things that I have learnt from people like Asit Kotecha, Nemish Bhai, and Rakesh ji most of all.
But conversely, what is the enemy of great investing for corporates?
I think capital allocation mistakes and capital structure, as I've said before.
What is now the Utpal Sheth template of good investment?
Pursuing structural change and leadership attributes, looking for companies which have great scalability, great return on capital employed and cash flow profile. Those would be my key parameters.
One of your keys in life has been meeting Rakesh. Where did you meet him?
I met him at the offices of Mr. Asit Kotecha, and the conversation turned to United Spirits and United Breweries.
Okay.
And at that time, I was a big fan of those two companies, though the market caps were very small. And
but you saw the great businesses they were.
Yes. And Rakesh ji had coincidentally bought a stake in each of those two companies just a few days prior to that. And I told him that these companies are going to go places. I gave him a price target of 300 rupees, and he said, if it goes there, I'll take you and your family to Disney World on a Concorde.
Let me understand the personalities here. A colorful man, Rakesh. You a cerebral man. You calm. He excitable. He a gut value instinct investor. you number driven. How does this partnership work?
It has worked very well, and I think maybe it is because we complement each other in many ways.
But when you and the boss disagree, what happened?
I think we have very different personality traits, and over the years we have adapted to each other's personality traits. And incidentally, it's not just Rakesh and me, there's also Amit Goela, and I think we all express our points of view in different ways, and it works. Maybe that difference of perspective and difference of point of view is a valuable
And it's necessary sometimes
yeah.
for a great
Yeah.
investment. Utpal, you're 45. You worked with a lot of legends. Your dad, your boss Rakesh, Nimesh Bhai, Vallabh Bhai, Rakesh Damani. You've seen all the legends. What's next for yourself?
My intense desire and aspiration is to be a part of an asset management firm that is institutionalized over a long period of time, and I hope and pray to God that RARE becomes that vehicle which institutionalizes itself beyond Rakeshji, beyond myself, beyond Amit, and we are able to create something special.
That would be your calling to greatness?
I don't know about greatness because I don't aspire for greatness.
Why not?
To me, greatness is not what one aspires for, it's a destination. RARE has had the privilege of partnering a lot of these companies, and I hope that those companies also feel the same way about RARE. And if they do, then I think we would have succeeded in the mission at RARE.
A job well done.
Yes.
Utpal, we'll have some fun now. I'm going to give you a rapid fire test. Let's see what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say these things, okay?
Okay.
Your favorite movie, Top Gun or Wall Street?
That's a tough choice, but Wall Street.
Alright. If you had a choice of having dinner with Janet Yellen or author John Naisbitt of Megatrends,
John Naisbitt.
best investor in India that you admire the most?
Biased answer maybe, but Rakesh Junjunwala.
A global investor that you admire the most?
I would say Seth Klarman.
Seth Klarman of Baupost. The most important thing that you learned about investing from your dad?
Growth phase. It's a phase for a company when its addressable opportunity or total addressable market, as we call it, expands dramatically, and it is poised well enough to tap that opportunity.
If I give you a choice of a weekend with your daughter or once in a lifetime chance of a weekend with Buffett, what would you choose?
Weekend with my daughter.
Okay. Best book you've read on investing?
Charlie's Almanac.
Alright. One mega trend you see in the future?
Data explosion.
Sensex 50,000 by?
2020.
That's nice. Final question. Would you go long the 30-year bond in India or short the 30-year T-bill in America?
I would go long the 30-year GSEC in India.
Great. You know, Utpal, they say about artists that they're not paid for the labor, they're paid for their vision. Thank you so much for sharing your vision about markets, about life, and about so many decisions in corporate India that you've taken. It's been a pleasure hosting you. We'll see you next week on another episode of the Wizards of Dalal Street.